Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Bold and the Beautiful. Brooke slow on the uptake with a panicked Ridge. Bold and the Beautiful had Brooke Logan needing a nudge to figure out her newest game plan with Ridge Forrester after Nick Marone made a play for her last week on the CBS soap. For a little while there, it looked as if Brooke didn't realize what Nick dumped in her lap. That is, until Katie Logan planted the seed for her sister. And that seed grows next week on Bold and Beautiful. Last week on Bold and the Beautiful, a shocker emerged for Brooke Logan, Catherine Kelly Lang, who found herself as the object of affection for an old flame, Nick Marone, Jack Wagner. Nick reminisced about the days when he and Brooke were an item. He even planted a romantic kiss on Brooke. The oldest Logan sister needed this, as she's been turned down by Ridge Forrester, Thorsten Kaye, several times since he landed back with Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig. She was feeling lonely and rather doomed, but then Nick gave her the jolt she needed, in more ways than one. Bold and the Beautiful has Brooke Logan feeling desired once again. While it's not by the man she wants, Nick's attention seemed to pull her out of the doldrums, and Nick also gave her something else. He gave her enough ammunition to probably get Ridge Forrester back, but she didn't realize this until Katie Logan, Heather Tom, came along. As Brooke Logan tells Katie about Nick's flirtatious visit, she mentions how Ridge came through the door, catching them in the middle of their chat. And she also mentioned how Ridge seemed very agitated over the scene he stumbled upon. Brooke tells Katie that Ridge had an attitude toward Nick, and Katie tells her that it is likely because Ridge is jealous. Then it was like a light bulb went off over Brooke's head, and it was as if she hadn't thought about this before. So, the Logan matriarch put the wheels in motion. But it was surprising to fans that Brooke couldn't figure this out all by herself. With the help of her sister putting the pieces together last week on Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke wastes no time in testing the waters of jealousy. But instead of dangling bait over Ridge's head, Brooke heads to Taylor first. She did enough damage during her visit to Taylor to send the world-renowned doctor over the edge. A desperate Taylor tries to corral Ridge Forrester with a proposal of marriage, next week on Bold and the Beautiful. It seems Taylor realizes that Ridge is jealous of Brooke fraternizing with Nick, so maybe Taylor pounces with this marriage proposal to make sure that jealousy doesn't push Ridge back to Brooke. Taylor picks a romantic dinner out to pop the question. But as the Bold and the Beautiful episodes roll along, it seems Nick becomes a real thorn in the side for Ridge. First he overhears Taylor's proposal. Then Nick sprints back to Brooke to tell her all about it. B&B also has Ridge telling the truth to Brooke towards the end of the week, but the details are vague. We can only assume he lowers the boom to Brooke about accepting Taylor's marriage proposal. But if Brooke manages to get Ridge jealous enough, she could win him back. So maybe the truth is that he is still her destiny. Next week, it also looks like Brooke Logan makes the most of Nick's attempts to reboot their relationship in more ways. Los Angeles is no stranger to high drama. But when Ridge Forrester starts losing his balance, even the walls at Forrester Creations start to tremble. The iconic fashion magnate has faced betrayals, corporate battles, and decades-long romantic entanglements, but something about his current state of panic feels different. Sharper, tighter, and too minute to minute to brush off as another Ridge moment. The problem? Brooke Logan, the one woman who has always claimed to read his heartbeat before he speaks, seems a step behind. And Ridge, wound tight and pacing, may not have the patience to wait for her to catch up. Brooke has never been accused of being oblivious in matters of Ridge. She can often sense a shift in his tone from across a room. But recently, his agitation has skyrocketed while she clings to the idea that everything is fine. To her, Ridge is just processing, or stressed, brushing off his tension with kisses and soft reassurances, while his eyes dart past her shoulder like he's watching a storm close in over the hills. The irony? Ridge is practically broadcasting distress signals. He's snapping at team members about minor design revisions. He's unusually quiet in family meetings. He started doing that thing where he walks away mid-conversation without explaining what he's thinking. To Steffi and Thomas, this is a red flag. To Brooke, it's just Ridge being Ridge. But this time, his storm has a name, one he's not saying out loud. It may be about business, or family, or a secret someone dropped in his lap, but Ridge hasn't voiced the truth. Instead, he roams Forrester Creations like a man waiting for a fuse to hit gunpowder. Brooke notices the pacing, the clipped replies, the missed dinners. But where she should ask questions, she keeps trying to smooth it over with optimism. At the cabin, Hopes raised an eyebrow. "Your dad's off," she pointed out to Brooke, who responded with a half smile and a dismissive wave. "He'll tell me when he's ready," she said. But Ridge doesn't look ready to share. He looks ready to explode. Steffi, ever the sharper observer, is already 2 steps into analysis mode. She nudged Thomas, whispering during a recent FIT meeting. "Dad's unraveling." Brooke's pretending not to feel it. Even Thomas, who has made an art form of emotional reprogramming, acknowledged that Ridge isn't himself. But unlike Brooke, the siblings don't expect Ridge to be straightforward. They expect someone to pry it out of him. Brooke, however, is operating in a space of confidence. She believes their connection is ironclad. She believes when he wants to confide in her, he will. The problem is, Ridge doesn't know how to ask for help until it's too late. And while Brooke is waiting for the perfect heart-to-heart, Ridge is spiraling into frantic energy she keeps misreading as an overworked mood swing. The tension finally surfaced in a moment that raised eyebrows around the executive suite. Carter asked Ridge a basic scheduling question about an upcoming press event, and Ridge snapped, not loudly, but in a way that made the room go still. Brooke jumped in with a soothing comment and a hand on Ridge's arm, laughing like it was nothing. Ridge forced a smile, but the set of his jaw said otherwise. Later, Taylor caught wind through the grapevine, because nothing in this family stays contained, and she felt that familiar mix of concern and déjà vu. She's seen Ridge in panic before, and she's seen Brooke miss the signs when she's too busy trying to maintain the illusion of calm. The divide is not born of indifference. Brooke loves Ridge with a ferocity that has rewritten her life for decades. But right now, she's clinging to peace when what Ridge needs is confrontation, gentle but direct. He is not soothed by platitudes. He is not comforted by surface-level affection. He is a man in motion, weighed down by something he's trying to keep from splintering the family. And Brooke is still 2 beats behind the rhythm of his panic. Even Eric noticed. During a quiet afternoon at the mansion, he commented to Donna that Ridge is carrying something heavy, while Brooke seems to think sunshine will solve it. Donna, never one to miss a chance to stir thoughts without stirring trouble, hinted to Brooke later that Ridge might need more than reassurance. Brooke smiled, nodded, and changed the subject. The real question is, what is Ridge hiding that has him this rattled? Is it a looming business war with a rival? A buried secret involving one of his children? A personal dilemma he can't risk exposing in the wrong hands? His rising anxiety suggests a threat with teeth. One afternoon, Ridge stepped into the CEO office, closed the door, and leaned against it like he was holding up the world. Brooke followed minutes later, asking if he wanted coffee. He said no a little too sharply. She didn't ask why he looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days. Instead, she kissed his cheek and told him they should plan a weekend away soon. Ridge nodded, but his attention had already drifted back to the storm in his mind. To anyone watching, the scene was painfully symbolic. Brooke thinks she's diffusing tension, but Ridge doesn't need a vacation. He needs someone to corner him and ask, point blank, what he's afraid of. Hope crossed paths with Brooke later, and gently questioned whether her mother had really tuned in to Ridge's mood. Brooke insisted she had. She blamed pressure from recent collection rollouts, and shrugged with a confidence that seemed almost rehearsed. But that calm veneer is becoming its own problem. Ridge is starting to feel isolated not because no one cares, but because the one person he expects to see straight through him is acting like everything's normal. And Ridge is a man who does not handle being emotionally unseen, especially not by Brooke. Steffi is teetering on whether she should barge into the conversation herself. She gave her father space, but she's also not going to wait for some meltdown to hit, while Brooke is lighting candles and pretending they're fine. If Ridge cracks before anyone forces the truth into daylight, the fallout could be loud and layered. Brooke won't just be shocked by the secret. She'll be blindsided by the realization that she missed the warning sign sitting in his eyes the whole time. And that could ignite a ripple effect. Guilt, defensiveness, friction with Steffi, and possibly a wedge Ridge doesn't want but won't know how to prevent.